colors and promises. How to be brave, how can I love when I'm afraid to fall, watching you stand alone. All of my doubt suddenly goes away somehow. One step closer.
Good evening, everyone. I'll be honest about something. When Haley first told me the song that she wanted to sing, I was a little doubtful. Admittedly, I didn't know the song that well. I just knew it was some girly pop song, and I was kind of like, all right, we're gonna do this. And then I listened to those lyrics. Did you hear those lyrics? How can I love when I'm afraid to fall? How can any of us love when we're afraid to fall? How can any of us love when we're scared? If there's anything that I've learned from you, Autumn and David, it's that the answer to that question is with commitment. They are so committed to each other. They're committed to seeing things work out. They aren't focused on what might or could happen. They're not focused on the what ifs. They're not focused on the statistics of marriage. What they are focused on is their commitment to creating a life together as a couple. And that, my friends, is the reason that we're all gathered here today, to witness the public declaration of a lifelong commitment between David Palazzi and Autumn Wistman. Thank you all so much for joining us. Please take your seats. The past few months have been especially fun for me. Between the three of us, we've been hanging out a lot more and kind of doing what we called our pre-wedding hangouts, prepping for the day. And it was funny because I really thought that I was gonna ask them all sorts of questions, interview style, and get all kinds of incredible information on what it means to be in a relationship. And I was convincing myself that I was going to capture some incredible quote that one of them says, and that I would just remember it and be able to put it in the ceremony. But it wasn't like that. It was David, Autumn, and I hanging out. It was the two of you being your authentic selves. It was you being friends. It was you two being a support system for each other. Being each other's cheerleaders and wholly accepting one another, even when you have different beliefs or ideals. And that did come up. But when we spoke of being sure of the decision to get married, the two of them spoke of it with such calm and casual credence. There was no one the two of you were trying to convince. You both had clearly wanted and accepted this, seemingly so naturally. I personally am so honored, humbled, and grateful to have been offered the privilege of being part of today, part of one of the biggest moments of your lives, and I feel completely confident in saying that feeling goes for every single one of us here. This isn't an ordinary couple standing in front of us. This isn't a story of someone meeting in a small town or being high school sweethearts. This isn't the story of modern technology analyzing results through a series of algorithms and matching the two of you up together. No, this is incredible. A much more rare and unique these days kind of story. That if David wouldn't kill me, I might go so far as to say divine intervention. What stands before me today is two people willing to stand apart from the crowd. Two people willing to be different. Two people willing to follow their dreams, take a risk, leave the places that they grew up and everything that they knew, move their lives hundreds of miles in order to make the most of their existence, to lead fulfilling lives, to get out of their comfort zones and ultimately to find each other. Two people brave enough to say yes and choose love, even when they may have been afraid to fall. Autumn, you are one of the most devoted people that I have ever met. You are so loving. You love unconditionally. You are caring, empathetic, and you are quick to forgive. You are one of the most powerful people that I have ever met in my life, and one of your best powers is your vulnerability. You always see the best in people. You risk looking foolish and you're willing to risk offending people in order to stand up for what you believe in the most, and that's love. You are the wings that fly this relationship, which is a perfect balance to David's groundedness. And those are some of the qualities that are going to take this marriage far. David, you are a brilliant, well-versed, humble, smart, caring, creative, talented, and loving man. You have strong beliefs and you're not afraid to stand behind them. You are passionate. You care about the future of the world, and you put this into practice in that you take care of, empower, support, and build up our future generations. You live life to a different soundtrack than most. You make the time to enjoy the things that you love, including your relationship with Autumn. You are such a solid ground for her, and those are some of the qualities that will make this marriage go far.
One step closer. One step closer.
At this time, I'd like to give you each a moment to express each of your own sentiments to each other and some of the vows from your heart that you would like to offer up. David, would you like to begin?
I didn't memorize it. Do my best to get through this. Okay. Autumn. Can everyone hear me? Can you hear me now? Autumn. Can you believe that we made it here? The past 3.5 years have been the best of my entire life by a long shot. Both the good and the challenging hurdles that you and I have crossed together. I've told you this so many times, but when I think back to the first time I saw you while scrolling through employee photos for the new salon job I was about to take, I'll never forget stopping on your photo and thinking, well, that could be a problem. It turns out it wasn't a problem at all, and rather my future staring me right in the face. Of course, it was easy for you and I to become friends and trust each other long before we took our relationship to the next level. I respected you from day one, took note of your work ethic and honesty, and most importantly, fell in love with your sincerity and unwillingness to do anything at all to anything but the absolute highest standard, even if that stressed you out to the point of tears. You and I both know the journey we've taken to get to this point here today, and I wouldn't trade a single moment of anything in the world. I truly feel like we've earned our marriage and built a foundation of trust, support, friendship, communication, and complete openness. I also feel like the fact that the beginning of our relationship wasn't some fairy tale honeymoon. I'd just gone through a fairly traumatic experience and probably should have locked myself in a room for the next year. But I can't thank you enough for not allowing that. While you and I both brought emotional baggage into the beginning of our relationship, I truly believe it was both of our willingness to not deny that and sort through it together that will keep us together forever. Our relationship is built on the truth of real life and the truth of what love really is. not the fairy tale ideal that I always thought I wanted. The last 3.5 years have taught me that what I really wanted was so much more than what I ever thought possible. And I hope that wonder of what's possible never stops for us. You know that I've wanted a partner in life since I was way too young to want something like that, and I just can't believe that I finally have everything I want. I remember sitting in the grass at about 8 years old, feeling lonely and filled with heartache that I'd never have a true love to share my life with at 8 years old. Of course, I thought I'd found that many times over the years, but it turns out that was just my training to be the best partner I could be for you, the person I've searched my whole life for. I'll leave you with a few personal vows that I hope to never slack on. I vow to work on being a morning person to meet your boundless energy at 7 a.m. I vow to never stop being patient when you need me to be the calm one. I vow to never let us have a less than extraordinary life and to live our life with abundance. I vow to never stop thinking you are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I vow to treat you like the gift to the earth that you are until the day that I die. And lastly, I vow to never stop loving you. As if I could help that at all, because loving you is the reason I get up in the morning. Hopefully earlier than ever. I adore you, my sweet girl, and I'll love you until we are old, gray, and wrinkled, and then I'll love you even more.
Thank you. Autumn, why don't we take these for you? You hold this.
David, marrying you and becoming your wife is such a deep honor. I see you. I adore you. I love you and love that marriage is an experience that you've longed for. Actually, I think you may have shot straight out of the womb, ready to get married. I also believe with my entire soul that we were made to find one another and share a lifetime of memories. I believe that we will leave a lasting legacy together because that's who we are as a couple. I think of who you are and who I knew you as before we ever dated. I recall loving you pretty much instantly and being careful not to fall in love with you because at the time you were not available for me. I saw how you treated women, how your blood really is comprised of empathy, and how you love wholeheartedly. I remember being one of the first people you trusted to build you back up when you had your heart broken badly. I too knew that pain from my own past experience. I remember being in awe at your resilience, your courage and willingness to love again, and how I wanted very much to let myself fall in love with you and be the one you could count on forever. In that first year, life offered us some external struggles, and still we built our own private sanctuary together. I hold those times close to my heart because out of them we built our sturdy foundation. Together we established stellar communication, trust, and commitment. I once made a list of ways of being that I cherish in relationships. They were the characteristics that I hope to find in my life partner. I categorized them a few core qualities as must-haves, and then a long list of would-be-nices. I have to say that over the years, I have discovered all of them ingrained in you. You are trustworthy, loyal, very patient, understanding, and respectful. We are so deeply connected. I love how well we practice really listening and communicating with one another. We bring out the best versions of each other and love each other through life's ups and downs. My life has become extraordinarily abundant and full of joy with you in it. I love how we collaborate and balance one another, and how we constantly check in to make sure we're still aligned. And I wrote a few vows that I too will strive to always complete. I vow to be a loving wife who advocates for you and what you want to be happy and healthy. I vow to always give back the genuine and empowering support that you give me. I vow to always be in touch with gratitude and to be appreciative of who you are and what we are together. I vow to accept you as you are and continue to encourage you always. I vow to be relaxed and in the moment with you, sleep in and relish in the gifts of all of our imperfections. I vow to embrace the power of laughter as well as forgiveness should we ever find ourselves needing a little extra. Quite simply, I vow to make the most of this life together and to make it fun too. I vow to nurture the sanctuary that we have created together and will cherish the privilege of being your wife and hopefully the mother of our children someday. You've always been more than a boyfriend to me. I love you as my best friend, my lover, my family. I take you as my husband, and I am your wife.
Thank you both. All right. All right, now I'm going to have you repeat after me. David, let's begin with you. I, David, take thee, Autumn, to be my wedded wife. To have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, to death do us part, and thereto I plight thee my troth. Plight thee my troth. Now, Autumn, I, Autumn, take thee, David, to be my wedded husband. To have and to hold from this day forward,
To hold from this day forward,
for better, for worse,
for better, for worse,
for richer, for poorer,
for richer, for poorer,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
to love and cherish till death do us part,
to love, to cherish, till death do us part,
and thereto I give thee my troth.
and thereto I give you my troth.
You got it. When I was reading over potential vows to have in a ceremony, I found that kind of funny. But when I really looked into what that meant, I thought it was so incredibly appropriate. Your troth is a lifelong pledge of faithfulness to each other. Now, let's take out the rings. All right. So the rings that you hold in your hand, they're a symbol. The circle symbolizes a continuation with no ending. To everyone else looking upon your rings, we see a symbol of love and commitment. And for each of you, it's a reminder that the ring that you wear, that was placed on your finger by your spouse on your wedding day, it doesn't represent your commitment to your marriage. It doesn't represent your love for your spouse. It doesn't represent your faithfulness. It represents the commitment, love, and faithfulness of your spouse to you. And this is what you get to hold each other to. David, would you like to place the ring on Autumn's finger? Autumn, would you like to place the ring on David's finger? David and Autumn, you have sealed your relationship by the exchanging of vows and the giving and receiving of rings. And this pledge is a relationship promise between two people who agree that they will commit themselves to one another throughout their lives. Now let us begin the sand ceremony. The most beautiful example of a partnership is the marriage relationship. You have committed yourselves here today to share the rest of your lives together. Today, this relationship is symbolized through the pouring of these two individuals of sand, individual containers of sand, one representing you, David, and all that you were, all that you are, and all that you will be, and the other represents you, Autumn, all that you were, all that you are, and all that you will be. As these two containers of sand are poured into the third container, I'm going to ask you both to leave a little bit of sand in your own containers, representing that you will always have a little more to give of yourselves. Just as these grains of sand can never be separated and poured into their individual containers in the same way again, so will your marriage be.
Colors and promises, how to be brave, how can I love when I'm afraid to fall, watching you stand alone, all of my doubt suddenly goes away somehow. One step closer, one step closer. I've died waiting for you, darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. And all along I believed I would find you. Time has brought your heart to me. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. Time stands still, beauty in all she is. I will be brave, I will not let anything take away what's standing in front of me. Every breath, every hour has come to this. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. And all along I believed I would find you. Time has brought your heart to me. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. One step closer, one step closer. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. And all along I believed I would find you. Time has brought your heart to me. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. One step closer. One step closer.
So as you can see, it was quite a good song choice. So what in conclusion can we all take away from this today, from Autumn and David's wedding, and how can we apply it in our own lives? Well, we see that no matter what issue comes up, getting through it is about a commitment to love and support one another. And what a great lesson for all of us in this season of political unrest. Times will undoubtedly get tough, so ask yourself, what are you committed to? And like Autumn and David, are you willing to put your ego aside, to not be right, to empathize with your fellow human beings, to accept their differences and still choose to love them? If each one of us lived our lives and made the kinds of choices that these two make, I can guarantee that this entire world would be a better place for all of us to live in. So I ask each of you today to do just that, as this really could be no greater gift to them than to take something from their example as humans and as a couple and apply it in our own lives. What will you put more readily into practice after this? Commitment, love, surrender, sacrifice, acceptance? Just as Autumn and David will be stronger together as a couple, so can all of us. We can all learn from them and be a brighter light in this world. It is now my privilege to announce to you all for the first time as a couple, Autumn and David Palazzi. You may kiss your bride. And before they all walk away, we are going to do a wedding selfie. So I'm going to have everybody put your hands in the shape of a heart. Yep, in the shape of a heart. You got it, you got it. Everybody squeeze in, squeeze in. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. All right.
Who's a hippie now? I cut it off to make you proud. Abuse my limbs until the sun goes down. I don't wanna be alone again. Your cheese is autograph. No handshake or pound the ass. Your saving grace was talking fast. I don't wanna be born again. Am I ready to take that chance? Put my faith in someone else. Let's use this dynamite. We're only making noises. I'll make white wings and crowns. Let's use this photograph. He's never even had the chance to believe in something else. Let's use this dynamite. We're only making noises. We want to go back to change with boys and electrical noises. Together we stand. We're in the bottom of the cold. It looked like rain, but it felt like snow. Because wherever we stand, we're in the bottom of the hole. Well, we'll take the wind out and we'll still say no. I used to rule the world. Seas would rise when I gave the word. Now in the morning I sleep alone. Sweep the streets I used to own. I used to roll the dice, feel the fear in my enemy's eyes, listen to
wonder. You get your fill to eat, but always keep that hunger. May you never take one single breath for granted. God forbid love ever leave you empty-handed. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you never fear those mountains in the distance. Never settle for the path of least resistance. Living might mean taking chances, but they're worth taking. Loving might be a mistake, but it's worth making. Don't let some helping heart leave you bitter. When you come close to selling out, reconsider. Give the heavens above more than just a passing glance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance.
Is a wheel in constant motion.
I hope you dance.
So long.
I hope you dance.
Wants to look back on their youth and
I
wonder
hope you
where those
dance.
years have gone.
I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance.
Is a wheel in constant motion.
I hope you dance.
So long.
I hope you dance.
Wants to look back on their youth and
My name's Matthew, and I'm really glad to be here. And Ace, I've been a friend of David's and a friend of David's family for it seems like a lifetime, and I just turned 30 this year. Really excited to be here, and every person I've talked to, I say, I can't believe it, and I can't. So bear with me while I stumble through this. I'm an emotional teddy bear. So I first met David in high school. I was the shy and quiet type, and believe it or not, he was too. And I wouldn't have met him if I hadn't gone out on a limb and gotten some courage and gone up to him in the hallway and recognized him for the band shirt that he was wearing. That's a very obscure band. And then the following day, that's a very obscure band, but I know them too. And I went up and I introduced myself. I said, hey, I want to be in a band with you. It turns out he already was. I missed my boat. I missed the boat on that. I struck up a very close relationship with him and his friends, and I'm really glad to be here with them too. This is very special. David is like a brother to me, and he'll tell you the same thing. And David's an only child. I have a sister. So it feels right for us to have that level of relationship together. It's very special, and I've never felt that level of connection to anyone else the way I have with David. So he's a very close person in my heart. David, I'm sorry I'm going to sell you out in front of your family. My parents aren't here, and yours are, so I'm going to tell some secrets. I think that's okay. So, we used to sneak out at night in high school every now and then. We did. I'd get a little message from David. Hey, what are you doing? I'm not doing anything. All right. I'll be over in 10 minutes. I'll show up in my parents' car, pull up real quiet. Nace, I'm sorry. I thought you'd be okay. We, some kids, they probably got in a lot of trouble. Me and David, our vice, is chicken wings. We loved chicken wings. We would go up to the Taco Mac, the sports bar up the road, late at night, a couple high schoolers, and we would eat chicken wings. All hours of the evening. So, I think that's pretty innocuous and innocent. The point of that is, we spent a lot of late nights talking and just being friends, getting to know each other, but both being introverted. You know, we felt that connection to each other, and we shared a lot of thoughts on love, on romantics, on ideals, the weight and the significance of feeling these emotions, and how important they were through to our core. And David touched on them in his vows today, that since being a young child, it being a driving force behind who David is. And I've known that personally to be absolutely a part of who he is. So the point of this, David is capable of a very significant and very special kind of love that I've known few people to possess, and I think there's no greater, more deserving person of that love than Autumn. Autumn, she's an unbridled source of compassion and sensitivity, overwhelming positive force in David's life and in everyone's life who they touch. And I'm in awe, and I think they're a model couple. It's beautiful. So I'm excited to see them flourish, and I want to share something with you guys. So everyone got one of these in their room. This book. Did you look through this book? This is beautiful. This is an exceptionally thoughtful, beautiful piece of work. This is a brilliant idea. Credit to who thought of this, who put it together, who compiled all of this information. It's touching and inspiring to see what love means to everyone. I'll share with you what I got in here. Hold for Matthew Fugel. All right, so what happened, I spent a little bit of time deliberating, and I turned in my homework late. I wasn't going to tell you this and set you off about it, so I kept quiet. Okay, so it happened, and that's fine. So, like I said, I turned in my homework late. I spent a little bit of time. I want to go through some of the other options. I threw a lot of ideas out, and not all of them stuck. Love is your fiance trimming your unsightly back hair, so he doesn't look like a putz while he's on the beach. Love is when you no longer blame the dog. Love is knowing when it's finally time to give up and just order a pizza. What I really wrote was this, and I want to share it with you because I'm going to wrap it up with that. I watch a melange of trees follow the seasons in my own backyard. Every day, they catch and they cast light and colors through my windows, filtering the glint of the sun, radiating, each day imprinted by that day's leaves. Stunning color, fragrant blossoms, how wind has tousled or wind dusted with fresh snow. I look out each day in admiration and in love in my own backyard. So I'm going to propose a toast. David and Autumn, I want you guys to discover the beauty in each day and in each other, and find every day different and more beautiful than the last one before it. To David and Autumn.
I hope everyone's having a fun time in Cancun. That was a big decision, and we talked a lot about it, and I think it was a great decision. I've known Autumn now for, we were talking about this, 5 years. We met in New York, working together at a hair salon. And actually, after that, David stepped in and took my position at the hair salon. And from the first time that I met Autumn, I absolutely knew that she was definitely like no one that I had ever met before. And I knew that I wanted to get to know her better. And we've spent the last 5 years doing that. We had a lot of really fun times in New York as single ladies. From walking down the streets of the East Village at 2 o'clock in the morning speaking in Cockney accents to playing dating games to having long, sometimes heated, sometimes tearful, sometimes joyous discussions in both of our respective living rooms. We've been through amazing times, really funny times, and really tough times together. A few years later, along came David, and I was so happy. Autumn was so nervous to tell me that she and he had started talking. I knew who he was, but we didn't know each other very well, and she was so nervous. And she told me when we were in my living room, and it's been a pleasure and an honor to get to know David over the last couple years. And our lives have completely intertwined. Along with my partner, Chad, the 4 of us have dinner regularly and continue to have those discussions in our living rooms. One thing about my relationship with Autumn is that from the first, as soon as we had established a strong connection, there's never been a doubt. There's never been a doubt about the amount of love that she has for people, myself, the amount of belief that she has in the goodness of humanity, like to its core, and the lengths that she will go to convince you that life is incredible. She lives an incredible life, and her partner David lives an incredible life. They are so amazingly compatible and supportive of each other. So I would like to raise a toast to no doubt. To no doubt in my mind. I've never doubted you guys, and I've never doubted any of our relationships. It's been an honor and a pleasure. I love you both. Congratulations.
Okay, let's continue with the next speech. It's time for the best man. Stephen, make some noise, please.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. So glad to be here with all of you. I'm celebrating David and Autumn at the Dreams Riviera in Cancun, Mexico. I'm having an awesome time. I was talking to the concierge earlier about all-inclusive political asylum packages. Some great options. People are saying heard great things from what I'm hearing. For those of you who know me, you're probably surprised that I'm still standing. Generally, by this point in the evening, I'm blacked out in the bathroom tile. But for David, I've been on my best behavior this week. What a guy. Who's the best man? David. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Steven. David has been my best friend for over half of my life. We've been so many things to each other. We started as schoolmates, we've been bandmates, roommates, primates, a little bit of everything. He's often told me affectionately that I am like the brother he's never had. And while there's truth to this, for any of you who have spent any considerable amount of time around the two of us, especially over dinner, you realize that we're less like brothers and more like an obnoxious older married couple. We fall into the same patterns of conversation. We communicate in grunts often, rehash the same trivial arguments no matter who's present. We laugh at the same terrible jokes and occasionally just fall into a comfortable silence and chew. We're okay with that. And like most older married couples, though we are not without our charms at times, we're generally completely unbearable to be around for extended periods of times. Which is why I feel particularly qualified to talk to you about the newly married couple we're celebrating tonight. When you think about it, marriage is basically just a restraining order in reverse. In the words of my favorite philosopher, Jerry Seinfeld, marriage is the ultimate comedic premise. You're volunteering for an absurd and absolutely impossible situation. I think most and hopefully all of you know that love can be simple, fun, almost too easy at times, and especially new love. I've got new love in my life, and it's fantastic, undemanding. She's amazing, thinks I'm fantastic. Blah blah blah. I think weddings are a really great way to celebrate those poetic and easy aspects of love, the pleasantness of it. Thank you, other best man. Can't account for the wind, you know. I think you took one of my pages. Oh no, they're just in the wrong order. There's a hard act to follow already. All right. And these are the reasons. I tried to write Autumn and David a song for their wedding, a gift for today, a love song. Opa! Windy. I had a melody in my head when I was about to sit down to write it, and I thought this is perfect. It contained what I would describe as the spark of love, which you don't often get, and I had it, so I ran with it. But the more I thought about Autumn and David, the less I found myself writing a wedding song and more writing a marriage song. A song about recognizing the difference in a person that sets them apart from all others and makes a lifetime commitment to that person not only plausible, but enticing and essential. Right before his first date with Autumn, David sent me a vague message shrouded in mystery. I'm going out with someone tonight, and you're probably going to be seeing a lot of her from now on. All right, player. Confidence. That's half the game. The point is, David knew right away. He saw the difference in Autumn. From the get-go, he heard that spark of love. And all I can ask of David and Autumn now is to remember that spark from the first date. Remember the way it feels right now on this incredible, beautiful beach. Remember the separate mazes you both fought through to arrive here today in this incredible place together. The first line of the song, not on the first line of this page, the first line of the song that I wrote is, "It's not hard to remember, but it's easier to forget." I have never been married, but this is why I assume that marriage is not a cakewalk for most people. You can take nothing for granted. Here's a better lyric by David's favorite songwriter, Billy Corgan. Who wouldn't stand inside your love? And I think that Mr. Corgan really nailed the sentiment of a successful marriage right here. To realize the tremendous privilege of living inside a love of which you feel the whole world should be envious. I've seen Autumn and David construct the pillars that hold up the temple of affection that houses their partnership so that they can both stand inside of that love together. And I feel like I'm plagiarizing from Autumn's vows, but I hadn't heard them until when I was writing this speech, so I apologize. But obviously we're on the same page. It's built upon the way that David admires Autumn's ambition, bravery, and vision, and on the fact that in David, Autumn finds the most loyal, passionate, and dedicated of partners. And just as my first decade of friendship with David was spent constructing a mutual manifesto of tastes and ethics and aesthetics, it's in these past few years, as our tastes have often gone their separate ways, that I've realized how tangential these tastes were to the core of our friendship, which is stronger than ever. And it makes me realize how much deeper things actually run between us than those tastes. I expect it will be very much the same with Autumn and David as they grow together in this next phase of their lives as husband and wife. They are both incredibly lucky people, as I have been unbelievably fortunate to call David my best friend and hetero husband for the past 17 years, and now add his beautiful bride Autumn to my circle of inner circle of friends. Congratulations to you both, and I leave you with this insight from Leonard Cohen before we toast. Marriage is the hottest furnace of the spirit, much more difficult than solitude, much more challenging for people who want to work on themselves. It's a situation in which there are no alibis, excruciating most of the time, but it's only in the situation that any kind of work can be done. Here's to you guys.
Woo, halle! Alright, this one's gonna be short and sweet, so here I go. Short, but very sweet. Bing! Alright, sorry. I have gotten the privilege of being maid of honor on this special day. So with that, I guess I have to read you all a speech I have written. Okay, so where do I begin? Autumn, you have been everything a big sister is supposed to be. You've been my biggest inspiration. You've showed me how to love and care. You have been the greatest influence in my life, and I could not be more thankful to be able to call you my sister. Ever since I was a little toddler, I have always looked up to you. Even when you moved out, I was still looking up to you. You have never failed to be the greatest sister anyone could ever ask for. You have given me the best advice, listened to me cry about my tiny problems in this huge world, and have showed me the great things I am capable of. Today I have watched you marry the love of your life, and I could not be happier for you. You, Autumn, deserve the world, and you finally got it. David, you are the sweetest man I have ever met, and I couldn't be more thankful to have you in this family. From the very beginning, I knew you were going to continue to love my sister, and that you two were meant to be. You have been such an incredible big brother to me, and it is only the beginning. I am beyond blessed to be standing here reading you all this, and I would like to make a toast to pure happiness and love. These two are an incredible pair, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you two. To Autumn and David, we are all so happy for you.
Very, very quickly, because I know everyone wants to eat. Just quickly, for those of you who don't know the history between Autumn and I, we pretty much grew up together. We pretty much experienced a lot of things together at a very young age. I was 17. And a wonderful man, Christopher Wisman, came along and adopted Autumn. And he's absolutely the best father that any girl could ever have. David is a very, very welcome member to our family. The son I always hoped and wished for. Just very shortly, on a very short, all right, lost my train of thought. Anyway, very recently I read something that at first when I read the whole scenario of what it was about, it said life is not a journey. Well, I was like, well, absolutely life is a journey because we're all on a journey to get somewhere. But after I read it and listened to what the person had to say, it made so much sense to me. It made so much sense because life can be a journey, but if you make it into a journey, you're on your way trying to get somewhere, always trying to get somewhere. But the realization is that if you're always trying to get somewhere, you're never living in present in the moment because you're always looking towards the future. And what I think is the most important thing in this life is to live present in the moment because as we all know, life here is temporary. Make a difference in people's lives. Cherish every moment together. Live one day at a time and don't say when we get there because we're here. The time is now. So dance every day, not just on the special occasions. I welcome these two as a brand new couple and wish them the very, very best. And if you'd like to toast again, which we all love to drink, please raise your glass. I'm gonna drink this. To Autumn and David, God bless them. God bless every one of you who love them like I do.
Hello. We just want to piggyback, actually. Of course, we didn't rehearse it, but there are no accidents, right? So, a few nights ago, I had thought about how we wanted to honor the people who couldn't be here today, and, you know, make the most of the moment. So I was inspired to write a poem the other morning, and I want to share it with you. So I said, each and every night I try to gaze outward and ponder why, in amazement with how we are all connected, I give gratitude for every star in the sky. An homage to all who are elsewhere, whether they are alive or deceased. May their energy bind with ours now. May their souls forever be reached. I believe and hold dear to me that true love has tied each of us together in this moment in time. So in lieu of a guest book tonight, what we decided to do, if you go over to the table, we have shared some photos of people who were special to us who couldn't be here tonight. And there, you'll see some canvases that are there and some gold and silver paint pens. The canvases are blue to represent the night sky, and what we'd like you to do, if you feel so compelled to mark the canvas with a star in honor of someone who can't be here tonight, please do so. You can add as many stars as you want. It's very special to us, so please, it's very special.
Please participate. Thank you.
And thank you so much for being
Thank you,
here.
everyone. We love you all.
I'm hurting, baby. I'm broken down. I need your loving, I need it now. When I'm without you, I'm something weak. You got me begging, want that red velvet, I want that sugar sweet. Don't let nobody touch it unless that somebody's me. I gotta be a man, there ain't no other way. Cause girl, you're hotter than a Southern California day. I don't wanna play no games, you don't gotta be afraid. Don't give me all that shy shit, no makeup